Hello everyone, and welcome to this quick introduction to Python statements. As always, there's a Jupyter notebook that is associated with this lecture, and it's also called Introduction to Python Statements. So what are we going to do in this lecture? In this lecture, we're going to get a quick overview of Python statements. And what we're really going to try to do is emphasize the differences between Python and other languages, such as C++. And there's two main reasons for taking this approach, this comparison approach. And that's because reason number one, if you're coming from a different language, this is going to really rapidly accelerate your understanding of Python. And then number two, if Python is your first language, learning statements in this fashion will allow you to be able to read other languages more easily in the future. So you'll be able to jump from Python into Java or C++ or another language much quicker if you learn about Python statements through this comparison context. So let's look at Python versus other languages. What we're going to do is create a simple statement that says if A is greater than B, so if a variable A is greater than a variable B, assign the number 2 to A and the number 4 to B. So let's take a look at what this would normally look like in another language. So a lot of times the syntax for other languages would look something like this. It would say if, and then you'd have your check case, A greater than B, within some sort of parentheses or brackets. And then you'll have curly brackets with statements on what to do. So if, in parentheses, if this case is true, you might have a bracket here, and then you have lines with semicolons afterwards, separating each statement. What does this look like in Python? You'll notice the syntax is a lot cleaner and a lot simpler. This is one of the main beauties and what people really enjoy about Python. So you'll notice here we just have a direct statement. If A is greater than B, colon, you'll notice some white space here, which we'll make clear in a couple more slides in the future. You'll see it resets A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 4. So what are the differences here? Let's go ahead and compare them. What Python does is it gets rid of these parentheses and these curly brackets by incorporating two main factors, a colon and white space. So in Python, your statements are ended with a colon here. So if A is greater than B, colon, and then white space is used, this indentation here, to describe what takes place in case of the statement. So in Python, you'll notice white space is extremely important and it's fundamental to your code. And as we learn about statements throughout this section of the course, we'll really emphasize good practices and good indentation throughout your code. So what are the other differences here? Another major difference is the lack of semicolons in Python. So a lot of times in other languages, semicolons are used to denote that a statement has ended, but in Python, the end of a line, so once you stop typing on a line, is the same as the end of a statement. In other languages, you're required to put in a semicolon, but in Python, that's not the case. Another reason why Python is so nice and so clean. And lastly, just to end this brief overview of the differences, let's take a closer look at the indentation syntax in Python versus other languages. So in other languages, you might have some syntax that looks like this. If parentheses x, if parentheses y, you'll have a code statement and a semicolon, else, another code statement, semicolon. But in Python, you have this very clear structure that's driven by code indentation and the use of white space and these colons. So that means code readability is a really core part of the design of the Python language. And that's why you'll feel that Python is a very easy language to learn in comparison to other languages, because its readability is driven really at the core of Python with white space and indentation and this sort of colon Python statement syntax. Okay, so that's it for this quick introduction to Python statements and how they compare to other languages. What we're going to do now is start coding out different Python statements and learning about the various statements we can do, and we'll get a better understanding that way. Okay. So thanks. I will see you at the next lecture where we'll start coding some Python statements. I'll see you there.